Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome to another episode of Sharktober, as today I'm going to bring you back to the past, at least to the year of 1995, as we have none other than the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers McDonald figures. And what better way than to enjoy Sharktober by looking at a brand that not only involves costumes and monsters and all that other good stuff, but these that you see right here are in fact the actual Power Ranger figures that you had to go to McDonald's to get as a Happy Meals kids toys, and you had to collect all six with their Megazords, and we'll look at the power coins just shortly after. If you were someone that was born and raised around that time or just grew up in the 90s, you would know the hype that went around getting all six of these, and it's just absolutely incredible the fact that I have all six of these. I vividly remember going to McDonald's and getting all of these, so what you see here is exactly what I picked up back in 1995. These were not repurchased, these were not bought off of eBay. I actually went to McDonald's back in 95, and I remember my father buying me my Happy Meals kids toys and just praying that I actually got different versions of the characters rather than getting multiples of the same ones. And that usually happens within the McDonald's Happy Meals toys. So this is like a huge blast in the past, and I wanted to really just cure the itch and talk about this because it's completely nostalgic, completely innocent, and as a huge fan of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you can't go wrong with this. So let's go ahead and take a look at each of these figures up close and see how great they really are, and then we'll take a look at the accessories or power coins that also came with the Megazords. Alright, so up first we're going to be taking a look at Adam, aka the Black Ranger, who dons the power of the Mastodon and the Frog. And just by looking at the frog itself, I mean, it is sculpted pretty well. I mean, for a Happy Meals toy, I mean, can't go wrong with it. Now, I remember in the movie, Adam was really pissed off that he had to become the frog, but, you know, it is what it is. But just looking at it is really cool, and I love the fact how you have the wheels on the bottom, so it's nice for them to kind of roll around in the movie. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. So the detail on the frog itself, pretty badass. And I will warn you, I did play with these a lot as a kid, so you can see a lot of damage and dust and everything about it, but I wanted to keep it as nostalgic as I can. So, and one of the best parts is like the figures can actually sit in there. So by looking at Adam itself, the helmet is not accurate by any means. It looks very strange, but I think they tried their best. He does have the Mastodon logo, pretty huge on the chest, and very limited articulation, kind of in the style of like old Kenner figures or G.I. Joes, but pretty sick. And I love just the overall style of it. And I played the hell out of all these figures, like I mentioned before, so whenever the movie was on, I just would take these and beat the shit out of whatever monsters I could find, because these were interpreted as the movie figures, right? So what better way to play with them than having actual movie figures? So pretty awesome, love it, and just it looks really, really great. So and I'm kind of disappointed that Zach wasn't in this movie just because, you know, he left right before the movie came about, but at least we got Adam, and Adam's a pretty cool fighter, so nonetheless it's pretty decent. So that is the Black Ranger. Alright, and up next we're going to take a look at Aisha, who dons the power of the saber-toothed tiger, who also has the new power of the bear. The bear looks pretty dope. I mean, you can see all the mechanical features roughly for a very basic figure. I love the head sculpt of it. You can see a lot of scratches and dings. I did beat the shit out of this figure, so I have no regrets whatsoever, but just the overall design and concept of it is so damn cool. And this figure also has the wheels, so you can roll this one around as well. So, very, very awesome. I just love it. It looks freaking great. So, I love how the yellows contrasts against the blacks, and everything about it looks pretty cool, so really awesome. But as we look at Aisha, again, very sad that Trini wasn't in this movie, as she did leave before, but it is what it is. This one has a lot of wear and tear on it, so you can see how much I played with this figure growing up. And the helmet is actually pretty decent. It's not too bad for the basic figure. The logo is kind of faded out at this point. I mean, it is a 1995 figure, so you can see all the dirt on the actual hands. That's, I mean, it's cool because the costumes in these movies were very like, I don't want to say modern, but they're like armored with a lot of dirt and wear and tear. So I guess this kind of fits the aesthetic of it very well. So they did a pretty decent job sculpting these for very basic and minimal figures. But you can see even the line work on this, kind of give it like not really a spandex style, but more of the armor style. So pretty cool. And I love how sometimes the figures can have both open hands and sometimes they can have one open hand and one fist. So just depends on whatever version you get. Otherwise, it's a pretty decent one. So that is Aisha. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at Billy, the Blue Ranger, who dons the power of the Triceratops and the new Power Zord of the Wolf. And the Wolf is a pretty good one. It was probably one of my favorites in the, at least, new style of Power Rangers when they got rid of the old Zords. And again, the amount of dings and scratches, the paint wear, this will literally indicate how much I played with these as a kid. So can't go wrong with it. I mean, it just looks so damn badass. And he's got the wheels there on the bottom. So, you know, allowing you to roll this around, which is pretty cool. Gotta love it. And yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool Wolf Zord. I love the blues they use, the contrast as well against the silvers. And yeah, it looks pretty badass. And as we look at the Blue Ranger, we can see that the helmet isn't too much there, but they did the best they could. So it's like on and off kind of thing, but it looks fine. Billy became one of my favorite Rangers after Tommy, defected towards the White Ranger. So after that, I faulted to Billy, but it's fine. I do love the costume of it. The helmet is fine. The power coin is a bit scratched, but it's okay. You can see a lot of the armor, and like I mentioned, Billy has the two open hands, so it's kind of like bitch slapping hands. That's pretty cool. A lot of dirt on it, a lot of wear and tear, some color discoloration, which sucks, but it's fine. And you can see more of the detail on the blues right here, on the sides, a lot of sculpting of line work and stuff, so that's pretty cool. A lot of dirt again, very, very cool. But yeah, I absolutely love these figures, man. It just brings me back to such an innocent time in my life. So it's great. I love it. So that is Billy the Blue Ranger. And up next, we're going to be taking a look at Kimberly the Pink Ranger, who dons the power of the Pterodactyl and the new Zord of the Crane. So this is pretty cool. I mean, the fact that she still went from a flying bird to another type of bird, which is really awesome. Pterodactyls to a crane. I mean, that's a pretty decent, not really an upgrade, but good enough. I love the design of this one. The pinks came out really well. The white's pretty cool, a little bit faded, off-white there too. And yeah, I mean, just seeing the wheels there on the bottom, so you can have her ride around her crane, which is pretty great. And they do utilize all these Zords at the end of the movie, which is awesome. You can see a lot of dirt and wear and tear. I mean, some scuffs there. I mean, it's fine. I love it. The crane, though, looks really, really cool. But as we look at Kimberly, the Pink Ranger, we can see here the helmet is kind of there. I mean, not really there, but kind of, I guess. It kind of reminds me of the 2017 Power Rangers movie, the Alien versions, the one that looked like Iron Man's from 2017. But you can see that the power coin is kind of faded from the chest, which is, it's unfortunate. She does have the open hand there and then the fist hand on the right hand. The belt is a bit faded, which is unfortunate, some scratches. But even for the Pink Ranger, you can actually see a lot more of the sculpting and line work there as well. So even the knee pads and some fading there by the diamond argyle patterns, but it's still fine for what it is. And you can see the screws on the back. Otherwise, it's a pretty decent figure, and I actually like it, so it's cool. So that is Kimberly the Pink Ranger. Alright, and up next, we're going to be taking a look at Rocky the Red Ranger, who dons the power of the Tyrannosaurus, and who has the new Zord of the Ape. And unlike all the other ones, this one is kind of like my least favorite just because of the way it's designed. I mean, the reds and all that is pretty cool, but it's also harder for, to have a character fit inside an ape Megazord. So I think they tried. Not necessarily one of my favorites, but it's fine. I mean, the head sculpt is okay. This one, detail and design-wise, kind of looks like the weakest, but it's fine for what it is. They tried. I mean, you can see where they were going with it, and it works for its own way. And he does have the wheels on the bottom too, so you can have him roll around, which is great. Now, unlike all the other figures where you can actually have them sit in the back, Rocky can sit, but you can see how it's like loose fit where you can fit the figure in the back, but it's kind of, because it's a standing ape, it's not necessarily a sitting vehicle, so it kind of has like a different gimmick to it. Otherwise, it's fine, but it just doesn't really work for me, but it is what it is. Otherwise, taking a look at Rocky, the Tyrannosaurus helmet is fine. I see where they were going with it. They kind of did a pretty decent job with it, so I'll let this one slide. it's okay. We have the red outfit. The Tyrannosaurus power coin is kind of faded, but they did a pretty decent job with it. I'm happy that it's still a little bit intact, but it's okay. You can see the armor pieces. He has two fisted hands, which is cool. The power coin, the belt is pretty standard. And then you can see more of the detail there as well. And I also forgot to mention, you can see the line work on the toes, which is pretty cool. So I like that. And the back is pretty clean for the most part. So otherwise, it's a bit loose compared to the other ones, because like I said, I played the hell out of these figures growing up, so it's still cool regardless. And, you know, it's just very unfortunate that Jason was not in this movie, because he would have been an awesome addition to the movie, but Rocky has always been one of my least favorite, I guess, supposed heroes. That's why he got downgraded to the Blue Ranger and Zeo, but it is what it is. So otherwise, it's a pretty cool figure. I love the padding there on the gloves and stuff. You can kind of see a little bit more on this figure, but it's awesome. So that is Rocky the Red Ranger. Alright, and last but not least, we have Tommy the White Ranger, who dons the power of the White Tiger and the new Zord of the Falcon. This one is pretty sick. I mean, you know, rest in peace Jason David Frank, but overall, very, very cool looking figure. He just got the wheels on the bottom. I kind of wish that the wings were more out, but he has more of a sitting stance. The design of this one is really cool, despite all the dirt and dust that you're going to see on this particular vehicle, but or the Zord. It looks great though. Love the design of it. And this is probably the most detailed out of all the Zords that we have in this Happy Meal section. I mean, it has a lot of texturing and line work for the sculpts, which is pretty cool. So, you know, I got to give them credit for where it's due for a 95 basic figure and for being a McDonald's Happy Meal toy. I mean, come on. You can't go wrong with that. So, it's pretty sick. And as we look at Tommy the White Ranger, they did a really good job with the helmet, even though it's probably like 95% there, but it's probably the most accurate in terms of all the other ones. I love the golds on the whites, does contrast really well. The armor piece looks pretty cool. He does got the White Tiger logo there on the torso, and then the whites, you can see a lot of yellowing or dirt and dust and stuff, but you got two fisted hands. I love the texturing there, or at least the line sculpts there. Otherwise, everything else looks, you know, it's pretty standard. He does have the gold trims on the ankles, which is pretty cool, right below the knee pads, and same with this one. The gauntlets, they're pretty sick, and then the armor is pretty dope. I mean, they sculpted that really well. I really wish the Green Ranger was in this movie, but, you know, it is what it is. Otherwise, it's a pretty decent looking figure, and yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. It's Tommy. He's the leader. He's so badass. So once again, rest in peace, Jason David Frank. But yeah, this is so nostalgic. And I love how this one has like more of a straight arm, and then this one has more like a bent angle, but, you know, no articulation other than the shoulders, but it's fine. So that is Tommy the White Ranger. So basically, in order to just make them, you know, accompany to their Zords, you just make them sit like that, which is pretty cool. So one of the things I will say I do love about all these is just the amount of nostalgia that it holds to it. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of these. I love looking at Power Ranger, the movie figures. There was so many different things going on within this movie, as you got comics, you not only got the TV series, but then you also had these toys, then you had the movie, then you also had the video game for, I believe, Nintendo and Sega Genesis. So much going on, just a lot to enjoy within this line. So the fact that we have all these different variations of these figures, and the marketing was probably fantastic. I mean, dear Lord, it's definitely one of my favorite times of being a kid, and just by looking at all these as a whole, it's awesome. It's unfortunate that we don't have a way to connect all these together to kind of build the actual Megazord, but, you know, it's fine for what it is. Just looking at all of them as a whole, I mean, wow, like, it's Power Rangers, man. It's so badass. So let's go ahead and take a look at some other accessories that these figures came with, and then we'll conclude the video with my final thoughts. So the Happy Meals also came with these Power Ranger movie, I guess, these darts that you can kind of, I don't remember exactly what this did, but there's a thing for you to kind of like shoot out something. I honestly forgot. Otherwise, it looks pretty cool. It has the same black and with the silvers, and then they got the Power Rangers logo there with the movie. That looks really sick. So you can see that there's an insert there which kind of shoots out something, and it's like, yeah, I kind of forgot how to do this, but either way, I'm very happy that I have it, because whatever this does, it looks pretty sick, and some sculpting and designs and whatever, but otherwise, it's pretty cool. And then there was also the official communicator, which was so damn badass because each communicator was also its own separate thing, which I absolutely loved. And compared to the original TV series where it had like silvers and reds and all these different colors, this one was legit just all black and silver. So they really amped up the, style and designing for it. And you can see that there is a clip there. So we can see here we have Zordon, we got Alpha, the Power Rangers logo. Obviously, this is from the actual series, not the movie, so that's kind of an error, but really, really cool. It says Power Rangers, the movie, and yeah, and the cool part is, regardless how many Happy Meal toys you get, they always came with, communicators, so sometimes you would get lucky, sometimes not, so I'm very happy that I have at least, I think, 4 of these, so, so we have one without bending it, which looks pretty cool, and then one that is bent, so I think this is the one I actually wore when I was a kid, because I can tell I actually pinned it, how tiny my arms, I guess, used to be. So, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty cool. So that's, the communicators, which is a very nice touch to the Power Rangers line. So I'm very happy about that. And last but not least, one of my favorite parts about the Happy Meal toys is that it came with an actual morpher. So that's so damn cool. It clips onto, I guess, your pants or belt or whatever it is you want it to do, because you can see that right there. And you can see it says Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in red. Pretty cool. I mean, standard basic, and you can open this up. And the reason why you can open this up is because these Power Morphers also came with Power Coins. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Power Coins real quickly. We have the Frog Power Coin, which looks really well sculpted. And these are the original Power Coins, so do keep in mind about that. Original ones from 95, which is so damn cool. Then we have Aisha's bear. That looks pretty cool. Some nice sculpting there. Love it, love it. Great design. Then we have Kimberly's crane, which is pretty dope. Nice detail there as well. Love it, love it, love it. I mean, one thing is, like, they got new power coins, but their helmets still stayed the same. So that was always my biggest gripe within the series. Then we have Rocky's ape. This one looks pretty cool. I like the design of this one. That's not bad. And then we have Billy's wolf. That's cool. I like that. Not bad, not bad. And then last but not least, we have the Falcon. That's cool. One of the really cool marketing gimmicks about all these power coins is that even if you turn them around, they actually have the other animals there, so you kind of mix and match. So I have a lot of these sitting around in a bag, so, just kind of like in case you got doubles, reverse it, and you'd be happy, like, oh, well, I already had a falcon, but yeah, now I can use the ape. So same thing, you got the wolf, but like now you got the bear on this side. So, and they're all like, whatever. But if we use Tommy's power coin within this, you can kind of just throw this in there and then just be like, it's morphin time. But there's also other ways to kind of enjoy where you just kind of like stack them up in there. I don't know how you want to, depending whichever one works. So then you just do like, there you go, power coin. So pretty sick. I mean, I love it. Can't go wrong. So I'm very happy that they gave us all these power coins to kind of enjoy, the marketing for this particular series. So that is the Power Ranger Power Coins from the 1995 Power Rangers movie. Alright, you guys, so that was my Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie's Happy Meals kids toys that you actually had to go to McDonald's to get back in 1995. And this is a huge throwback, a huge nostalgic video for me to do, and I just absolutely love looking at all these figures. It just brings me back to a time where, man, like, I just remember the craze of Power Rangers and just the thrill of hunting, the thrill of enjoying the innocence, the just being a kid and seeing Power Rangers on the big screen was absolutely incredible. And I just love the fact that I actually have a huge relic from the past, and despite the lack of articulation and the way these Zords look, at least by the end of the day, I can look back and be like, yeah, my father took me to McDonald's. I actually went and bought my food, and these came with the actual food that you got. So what more can you ask for? And with this year being the first year of Sharktober, I couldn't wait to do this type of review just because it brings me back to a very wholesome time in my life. And I can't help but to get emotional and just look back at these and remember just those moments of playing with these while the movie was on and enjoying. So I want to thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to give a like and subscribe for more videos during Sharktober, and I'll talk to you all in the next episode.